Słuchasz podcastu Agni Ajurweda zrozumiale i dostępnie, odcinek 128, jubileuszowy, bo w tym odcinku świętujemy drugą rocznicę istnienia podcastu. Nagrywanie tego podcastu przez tak długi czas jest dla mnie ważną częścią drogi serca. Drogi, na której wsłuchuję się w swój głos, w swoją dharmę i daję się prowadzić. Ważnymi osobami, które sprzyjają, towarzyszą i inspirują mnie na tej drodze są moje mentorki, coachki, są moje przyjaciółki i moje wspaniałe klientki. Dzisiaj zapraszam Cię bardzo serdecznie do posłuchania rozmowy z jedną z takich osób, która wspiera mnie już od kilku dobrych lat. Jest nią Marian Nielsen-Joss, która mówi o sobie, że jest biznes szamanką. Jest to osoba, dzięki której powstało wiele pięknych projektów w ramach Agni Ajurweda. To między innymi po sesjach z Marian Nielsen-Joss zdecydowałam się na to, żeby rozpoczynać zajęcia w szkole Ajurwedy, a potem w różnych innych kursach od śpiewania mantr. Marian jest także matką chrzestną tego, w jakim kształcie zaistniała Szkoła Ajurwedy część 3, czyli roczny kurs budowania marki osobistej online. Cieszę się, że dzisiaj, przy okazji jubileuszu, mogę świętować z Tobą i mogę podzielić się mądrością kobiety, która wielokrotnie wspierała mnie w tym, by Ajurweda i działania w ramach Agni Ajurweda podążały drogą serca. Serdecznie Cię zapraszam do wysłuchania tej rozmowy w języku angielskim. Witam Cię w podcaście Agni Ajurweda zrozumiale i dostępnie. Nazywam się Marian Nielsen-Joss. Wspólnie z mężem Michałem od 8 lat prowadzę Agni Ajurweda. Pomagam kobietom skorzystać z Ajurwedy w życiu osobistym i zawodowym. W każdym odcinku otworzysz serce i umysł na tą piękną, starożytną wiedzę o życiu. Przede wszystkim będę mówić o tym, jak Ajurweda służy na ścieżce zawodowej. Niezależnie od tego, czy jesteś konsultantką Ajurwedy, marzysz o tym, żeby nią zostać, albo prowadzisz inny biznes, który chcesz zamienić w holistyczny biznes, czyli w biznes, który szanuje Twoje pięty achillesowe, w którym wiesz, jak je chronić i doskonale wiesz, jakie masz asy w rękawie. Ajurweda jest prosta, ale jej zrozumienie i zastosowanie w codziennym życiu, także w życiu zawodowym, wymaga wsparcia. Od zawsze była przekazywana w relacji nauczyciel-uczeń w formie otwierających serce i umysł opowieści. Bardzo się cieszę, że mogę się z Tobą dzielić moją pasją i doświadczeniem z prowadzenia 8 lat firmy w tej przestrzeni. Firmy, która stała się 7-cyfrowym, holistycznym biznesem. Bardzo się cieszę, że spędzisz ten czas ze mną i starą, mądrą Ajurwedą. Hello, Marian. I'm so happy to have you here in my podcast. I'm very grateful that you found time. Thank you and welcome.
It's always a pleasure being here with you, Maria. I'm feeling it in my heart. Thank you.
I remember very well when we first met. I remember that I was really drawn to you because you looked so beautiful in your natural colors, with this beauty shining through your eyes, through your hair. And I remember that I came to you and I said, you have such a beautiful eyes and smile. And you smiled so beautifully in return. And you said, it takes one to see one. I felt it's the most warm way to say thank you to someone else and to invite me into the future conversation and future relationship. And, starting from there, which was almost 2 years ago, so many things happened. So who are you now, Marian? Who you've become during those years and in this life?
Oh my God, is that really your question today, Maria? Yeah, reflecting back together with you and our meeting the very first time, and oh, you're so beautiful saying all of this. Thank you, Maria. And yeah, we are on so beautiful journeys in our life, and when we can shine our light, and we can be seen, and we are allowed to shine our light, and we feel comfortable in shining our light, that's a beautiful thing to have reached. But it doesn't mean that it's going to stay there forever, because I have also been to quite some journey, and the darkness again. And I think this darkness comes kind of the dark night of the soul, they call it, right? It comes more times in life where we are experiencing things that's kind of pulling the rocket away under our feet, and big life lessons are to be learned. They're not always wrapped in very beautifully, but they are here for us. And looking back on these years, even though you said I was shining, I had a calling in my heart. I was ready to go on a new journey. I had over 15 years of experience working with Chinese medicine, locally serving my people here. Maybe in the beginning I was more like a medical doctor, you can say, because when you learn an ancient tradition, like you have your Ayurveda, I have my Chinese, you very much focus on the body, and you ask all these questions, and how do you sleep? How do you go to the toilet? How do you eat? That's kind of that first base structure you learn to get into a medicine, and how you learn to get into a person. But these ancient traditions, they don't just stop there by the body. That will only be half of the medicine, I would say. And then you grow with your people, because you learn from every client you have in your hand. You know, you're supporting them, and you grow with them, and then you grow through your own life. And as we say, first you work on the body, then you work with the body, and later on you work through the body. That's where you have grown yourself, and you have a wisdom, but it doesn't go there without the dark night of the soul, and the tough side of life, and maybe the yin and yang sign that everybody knows. There's the light, but there's also the darkness. And in there we get to know ourselves a lot, and we learn a lot about humbleness, because maybe we have some desires, but where are those desires coming from? Are they coming from our mind, or if they're coming from our heart? And we get on journeys with people that we think they're there for us, to lead us, but what are they leading us, and where are they leading us? And are they leading us to ourselves, or are they leaving us? Yeah, maybe they're leaving us also. Or are they leading us towards something that we are to learn something? So a lot has happening these years, and I've also lost my father, my last parent, just half a year ago. It was also very hurting and heartbreaking again. I lost my own mother 22 years ago, and now it was my father's time. But I could see how much I had grown also in my own journey, because even though we know we were going to lose him and his cancer took over, I was seeing a lot that I was grateful for also. I had him 22 years more than my mother. When he got his cancer diagnosis, we thought in summer 2014 he was going to die before Christmas, but he didn't. He lived on 6.5 years more. So we had more time to get to know him and be with him. And so I think it's in these dark night and journeys where we're not just shining, but we also get to learn a lot. We can see we learn to see what's also good in there, and we learn about gratitude, and we learn about trust, and we learn about faith, and I've been on quite a journey the last years with all of this, and we have all, I believe, also with our big world disaster, I'm gonna say, our pandemic that's been here, and about facing fears also, and still the life goes on, and the beauty is here, and can we still see the beauty? And not just see everything that's gone wrong almost. So what was your question? Now I just got rambling on.
Yeah, but because usually when I ask, like, who you are and what you do, then comes this brilliant lines, those brilliant lies. I'm this, and it's all shining, yeah? And I'm glad that you answer unusual questions in also unusual way, mentioning the transformation that we are going through to become who we are now. And in your case, I also feel, as you call yourself shaman, it's a really deep part of your style of working, leading people through sometimes very dark places and periods in their life, but towards the light. So it's like a transformational journey, yeah? That you start, and then when you have those dark moments, you will just lead them through this, because you know and you already see that on the other side there is a bright light.
Yeah, when you say this, Maria, it makes me, I got goosebumps you saying this. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think about the first time I heard that the shaman, this ancient tradition, they called them the keeper of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep that light going, right, even if you go through your transformation and you're lost at times also, and you can't understand what's happening, and you want to push through, but you can't, because there's also something called divine timing. There's not just the free will, there's destiny also, and maybe there's also karma and our soul's journey, and there's just so much through it. And it's not to hide, but there's really something to learn in there. And before we have kind of learned the lesson and we have gone through it all the way, it's not changing. But at some point, it will. And then, wow, when it comes in again, you can feel how you have grown. You can get surprised about yourself. It's like receiving new eyes almost, because internally something has shifted.
Mm-hmm. You know, I am coming back to the sentence that you heard a while ago from one of your friends, and that you are, what is the name, this woman who is assisting during the birth? How you call?
Midwife.
Midwife, yeah. She said something like this about you, that you are like a midwife for women entrepreneurs, those spiritual ones to be born. And when you were saying, I got this clear picture that we have certain people who are supporting us during pregnancy, and then during the child is born, but not so many are eager to stay with us in this crucial time in between, which is like, can be beautiful, but can be also quite messy, full of suffering. It requires really a lot of courage to be there and to lead this through this passage. It's like being born, yeah? Like the pregnancy, it's pretty pleasant. And then the afterwards is also quite pleasant, but in between, you know, between life and death almost. And I really felt many times you as someone who was guiding me, as a person who is capable to stay in this space in between and really being so close to this brilliant future and also to this dark past or present, which is holding us back.
Yeah. You know, we're all here to support each other, to be seen, right? There's no one who's just a shaman. We're all shamans, because we're all connected to the wisdom, and we all see beyond, and we can feel each other. The more we allow spirit and we allow the guidance to be there, so we can see ourselves and we can see each other, and we are connected to a wisdom that surrounds us, that wants to call us to live our purpose and live our life callings, and to allow this darkness, as you say, Maria. I was told to be the midwife, to support people so that they can birth themselves into their light. And the light cannot be there without the darkness, right? And we can be scared of the darkness, but when you have learned something about darkness already, maybe early in life, you know there is a now the German is coming, sorry, there is a ground under your feet, even though that you're lying down and you really hurt. But trusting in that moment where you're lying there in the darkness and you're hurting and you can't see the light, and you're still trusting. Somehow you're still trusting, or you have people surround you who trusts for you also to hold your hand. I think I've been through a lot, both personally and already young. I have so many lines in my forehead. There's so many people who put stuff up there because they don't want to have them. I love all my lines in my forehead because it's about all my 20s and all the transformations that I've done. And some of them only go half through my forehead because I only half learned the lessons, and some are going all the way through because I learned the lessons. And I'm so proud of all of them. I don't want to have any of them go away. I want to be an old woman full of wrinkles because they are my life stories, And the more I know about all of this, the more I really cherish our journeys and our lessons and what they do to us, even if they hurt. I've been through a lot also the last years with our children, and especially one of them has been challenging. But it's a gift to continue and not giving up and not staying a victim or feeling you can't survive this, but keep riding the wave, even if sometimes feeling you are drowning. But maybe you're not drowning. Maybe there are here bigger powers that is supporting us. And I have worked in my time as Chinese medicine, where I have people who did suicide, and I was following them, and you can see how their spirit came and they were connected, and you could see how they left again and they were not connected because it was not maybe time, or they couldn't heal, or what it was, but you could then see it. Sometimes they were here, they were spirited, they were connected, they were themselves, they could talk clearly about their pain, but then again they left again. So, there's so much to learn about when we are really here, and when we're present, when we are aligned, and we continue our journey, and we're not scared of our journey. Yeah.
It's so beautiful what you said about the wrinkles, because it reminds me the story of the photo that I took for the cover of my book, and it came back to me very polished. And I said, no, give me all my wrinkles, give me, back. I really work hard to get them. I don't want to erase them from my face, because I also believe that they are just like a kind of souvenir from our experiences, those around on your forehead, around your eyes, close to your nose and mouth. Really, they are just like a story of what happened in your life. So why would we like to erase it or cover it with something? I really, really love this quality of you to embrace what is written on your face and to go even further, to read from those lines and to be guided by those lines as you are reading from the faces and using this tool a lot in your work with clients.
The imprint of our soul, they are a gateway to get into you and ask you what happened there and what did you experience, and wow, how is that transforming, and is it still hurting? Do we still need to heal, or is it okay, and can we go the next step? And it's so, like you said before, Maria, like you disliked your huge forehead when you were younger and your big nose, but today they're your qualities, right? They're your strength, and now you can really embrace them and love them. It's so much about self-love and compassion to oneself and liking what's here, because this is what's needed right now for this life. This soul is here in this body, in this house, in this temple. And it wants you to live out with the gift you have, your purpose.
I would like to ask you about the tools that you are using while working with people, because, shaman and all the things that you are sharing, it's more or less understandable to our clients, to our listeners. But what you are actually doing during the sessions, what kind of tools make your work shamanic work?
Yeah, what makes it shamanic work? Yeah, maybe I can answer it with sharing with you, Maria, that after all the years in Chinese medicine, which also started with the shamans, but it changed more and more over to be medical and definitely also what we have maybe in the West. I had all the teachers standing up there in front of the board and teaching us, and some more spirited than others, of course. And I'm dyslexic, and I also was very kinesthetic, and I needed to not just have them talk to my head and also to my heart. I needed the experience. And there's a long story about then going to Bali, meeting shamans, and there are shamans up here just in the mountains, just the region next to us, which I heard 10 years earlier, and I put that notion in the back of my head. And being by my shaman up here in the Swiss Alps, and she's a Swiss lady, and she's connected to the core shamanism, from Michael Harner in America, this tradition where he took the shamanic way of healing and made it into the Western, that we could use it as a tool. And she's using this, and her story, when you get to hear her story, it will blow you away. You just, a shaman's path is maybe just not normal, I would almost gonna say. It's definitely some journeys in there and some stories. So being at her place the first time, it was so mysterious, but I could feel it. I can still feel it right now talking and telling you this, Maria. It's so connected to something so deep inside of me. There was a deep resonance, and it was so much about when you start learning to journey with the shamanic dream traveling, if you could say it like this, because maybe people can relate to that. You go out and like dreaming, and we know also by dreams there are some symbols and stories you don't understand. Some of them is daydreaming, and you, yeah, I remember, but some of it's really brilliant and mystical and everything, and your head has to get out of the way for this. So it's so much more about coming into your body, into your heart, connecting to your soul, and do dream traveling, and that happened so much the first time already there. So I came home coming there and experienced this. And at the same, or just this was in 2014 when I was pregnant with my third child. Yeah. Just after that, I had a session with a woman here in Switzerland. Also, a profound story of a woman who's from South Africa, who lives now in Switzerland, and she was in like an athletic and running, or what it was, and then when that stopped, I don't know if there was an injury or something, she didn't know what to do. What was her life now? Because like, did her life finish or what? And she said if she knew that her life story would continue at her fingertips, because she started reading hands, but not just reading hands, the palm, but she read fingerprints also. And we know fingerprints are uniquely who we are, right? And she was also a woman that I found in that time where my shift was happening, where I was just 40, the critical transaction, coming into my time of awakening. It's our period in our face with, it's our nose, it's our mountain, and a lot of things is going to set into action, and deep soul searching, truth searching. And she was reading my fingerprints and my palm and everything, and it's an imprint of a shaman and a spiritual teacher. And I had kind of a little bit forgotten this because it was too scary to actually really know about it until the journey started and my own healing started. I've done so much of this work for my own healing, of course, first. Be the wounded healer, right? And do your own journey for being able to support others. And so it's allowing all of this. It's the drumming, with shamanic drum, where you go journeying for people. It's tarot cards, which is about seeing the symbols that's in there, because I trust you. I trust the human being sitting in front of me, that they are their own wisdom guide, that they are their own shaman, that they are filled with their own knowledge to transform and heal and know their guidance. We just need a sacred space and somebody who wants to keep the light for us, to be the keeper of the fire, as the say shaman are. And see sometimes behind the veil, because we need that sometimes, but there's so much wisdom in each one of us. So we just need some tools that can open this up and guide us. And the face reading it's also, again, something to get in, to lock a door and go into you, to pull out who you really are. And these are the modalities that I use to I would say, open up a person, maybe. Yeah. And allow them to become who they truly are, to live their gift and recognize themselves, maybe. Yeah.
Yes. I remember when I signed up for your program, Lead with Soul, and we were about to do this first journey. I didn't know what does it mean. I felt like, is it okay to ask? And then you start drumming on your shamanic drum. And I felt like, okay, I'm sitting in Poland in front of my computer in my office. It's 6 p.m. I think it's 8 or 9 p.m. because those were the late meetings. You are the only person for whom I could stay up so late in front of my computer. I was here and you were there, and I was like, yes, anything is possible. If she can drum being in Swiss Alps and I can listen and actually journey with the sound. And I didn't even know what it's supposed to be. I was just following the sound, and the sound was sometimes a little bit off because of the connection. But it was pretty amazing for me to actually, just follow this sound and observe what will happen, and to see something, to feel, to get some pictures that I didn't understand. And then we were unpacking those symbols afterwards together, sharing what came, feelings, like visions, some animals or some colors, and using them as advices which are coming from above. It was pretty amazing for me because it was passing by my mind. And I was so used to looking for solutions with my mind and through my mind. And suddenly you were doing something like, bypassing the mind, directly to the different space through the sound.
Yeah, the guidance is here for us, the spirit guides are here, our power animals. And I think that was what I got fascinated in tradition when I came there. And we are all just so linked to it still, the church, the religion has, when it comes into human power, and who's going to know what and who's going to decide and who has the power, and humans can hurt humanity, but there's so much more there, and it's here to guide us all the time. And I also had to understand, can this happen? I was also used to be with my shaman in her space, but the spirit guide doesn't care. We are connected. There's a big web here. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter where we are. And we were, you were in Poland, and somebody was in Iceland, and somebody in Germany. And it's really leaning back and trusting and allowing, because the symbols are there. The stories will come in. You will feel. And we all journey differently. Even some, normally we see when we journey, or we feel, but some also hear. And it's like there's this notion coming and talking to you, and you pick it up, and I'm just always fascinated. I think that's one of my gifts. I'm just always fascinated. I want to learn until I die, the very last. I can't wait until my deathbed when I'm going to still learn what's happened in this moment. But it's all just so fascinating. Mm. And I'm in awe of it. It's brilliant, all of it.
Yeah, it's such a great quality in someone who is leading, being fascinated. So not being someone who is there to judge and who is there to know all the answers. I found myself pretty tired with the mentors who knew the answers. So the question was just like an excuse for them to give me the answer. It was so refreshing to work with you and actually being in a presence who is really interested in my answer, and not only this one coming through the mind, through the words, but also those those answers coming through the mind, through the face talking, eyes, the language. The language of the face, so to say, so not so verbal, or the symbols, or the visions, or the feelings. It's like I felt you are there to help me understand what does it really mean, what those signs, those breadcrumbs, what they are leading me to.
Yeah, to interpret, in co-creating what's happening, and just allowing it, and we will understand. We don't always understand at the moment, but looking at answers you gave Maria 2 years ago when you entered into Lead with Soul, where you said you wanted to be more connected to your heart and your soul and have that deeper connection, and that's what happened through the journey of the 2 years that we have worked together. And I'd be one of your mentors that had supported you, or your guidance, or what you would call them, right? And it's so beautiful to see. And that reminds me about also 3 years maybe into my clinic of Chinese medicine. I was like, I needed to know. I needed to know so that I could cure the person. I needed to know the right needles. I needed to know there was a huge pressure on myself. I was like, and I almost wanted to stop my clinic. It was bringing me in my knees. I wanted to have control. I wanted to know. I wanted to know as much as I could so that I could help exactly that person. But it almost wanted me to say, no, this is too crazy. I can't do it. I don't know enough. I never would know enough. If it would lie on me. And then that huge transformation, that shift happened, that I started to listen to the person and hearing their stories and seeing into them and deeply listening to them. And suddenly their whole universe opened up. It was not just a body that needed to heal, but it was, who are they inside? What are they talking about? What are in their stories, and what have hurted them in their stories? Why are they hurting today, but what hurted when they were younger? And so there was this whole thing that opened up, and there was not just, it was like co-creating instead. And it was not just, on my shoulders at the doctor who needed to know. No, it was us. And it was co-creating this in this healing space. And now even the spirits are guide are there to help. So that was so magical, this moment. It will stay with me forever, and then much more have come later on. But that was definitely the first point of allowing, who are this person in front of me, and who are they deep within.
I guess it's something that make your clients, your patients keep coming back to you, because as I remember from your story, they were not so happy that you are passing the clinic to someone else, because they felt like you are their doctor, you are their person. Yeah. And I went through the program with you, and then I came back for one-on-one 3 times so far, because of this quality of opening up to me, and really witnessing the whole stories that I'm bringing in. And in this way, the work is like, it's like never-ending work.
Yeah, but I would never want it to be, that it's kind of, I would be needed for you to grow. It's more, how can I step inside the sacred circle with you to support you on your personal growth? That's never ending. Of course, it's never ending. But the power is for you to feel your power, for you to be empowered, for you to grow, for you to understand life circumstances that sometimes is hurting us. And we don't understand what is it, and we're lost, and why this now, but it's then to keep being empowered in whatever is going to happen in our lives. And I would only want to step in there to support your growth and your like it needed. Never would I want to have that. It's to see you and embrace you and follow you. Maybe I'm following more you than you were actually, kind of following me. I'm following you in your life.
Yeah, actually, this is what I meant, that it's not that I need, or it's not like that I'm dependent. It's more like that sometimes with certain people, we are reaching the end of what is possible for us to do together. And mostly it's with those who are just following the structure. And when the structure ends, the relationship ends as well. The healing ends. And if you are more open, then it means that you can explore in different directions, and you can stop for a minute and then continue if you like. But there is possible to continue, while in so many other relationships, sometimes we are reaching the end of what is possible, the structure is completed. There is nothing else.
Yeah. My highest wish is also for me to grow always. It's never done. It's always a doing.
Yeah. It's one of your beautiful saying. I also remember the one with the hand.
I mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful, and it's very uplifting. I often hear something like almost like a complaint. I thought I did it already, and yet it came back. And the saying that you just shared, it's never done, it's always doing. Yeah, is it right? Yeah. Yeah. So uplifting. Yeah. Forget about final result.
It's the journey, right? They all talk about it's the journey and not the goal, right? Oh, the goal is like I have just lost my father, and wow, the goal is ending for us as human beings, right? Our soul is going to leave this body. That's the end of the journey. That's our end. We don't want to, kind of unconsciously be heading towards that. We want to live every minute we can here and understand life and have confrontations and the heart pains and all of it, because this is the journey. This is what we're going through, and understand why is my stomach now hurting, or what's going on, why is this headache coming and pressing on me. So what's pressing inside of me, and what have I not looked at or healed, or am I not listening to myself, or what's going on? Yeah, it's the journey
and listening.
Yeah.
You have this another beautiful saying that there is always a hand. Yeah, could you share this with us? It's such a beautiful thing and feeling.
Yeah, that's from my shaman. There's always a hand above you and below you protecting you. Yeah, use it as a mantra, and it supports our journey in trust, because I think we've all been confronted with trust issues as children, and I can see it just being a mother now also with I want my children to succeed, they need to do their homework, but I think that's also a lot of trust issues coming in there, how we are in our societies, but so it's easy to break trust almost, but how can we keep having trust even if we are going through society and rules and everything? And my beautiful mentor with face readings, the goddess of shamanism, sees everything. She would always say, don't break the rules, but don't break the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great one, especially for me now. With kids staying at home, yeah, we decided, to send them to actually go for homeschooling, not send them to school. And it's such a great thing to reflect now. Breaking the rules and living in a small village, and doing this so different than other people are doing at the same time. But not breaking the law, just choosing different, yeah? I wonder, just to wrap up our meeting today, as you are going through many different changes, what are you offering now, and with whom you would love to work now in this, like feeling what is your gift and feeling when and with whom you can really serve the most?
When I went through that, starting to work online to be able to reach not just locally people here, but also international, there were so many rules. And I think these rules, they kind of killed my spirit, if I can say this, Maria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at some point. And funny enough, you asked this question. We just talked about it, about breaking the rules. I'm working with the people who want to work with me, or who want me to co-create with them, and who wants me to be there for them, and who wants to step into a sacred place that I'm holding for them. I don't want to say who can come into this place or not. It's more who feel called to come in here, who feel seen, who wants to be seen from me, who can feel a connection here, who can feel that they're ready for this next journey, this next step. That's the people I want to work with. I don't want to name anybody. It's who can hear the calling.
I love this answer. Congratulations on breaking free.
Let's break the rules, not the law, but let's break the rules and just allow who we are. I want people to feel this, Maria, and say that, wow, this is me now. Like you started our conversation today, and you said, wow, I felt Marian, and I felt in her present, I felt myself, and it uplifted me, and there was the connection. This is what I would wish for, then I want to be myself, and they can be themselves, and it's not about, there's no rules here, it's just, there's a space here.
Yes, and just as a side note, you work in English, but also in German, yeah?
In English, in German, and in Danish.
Okay. Yeah, because this is the question that I quite often get, yeah? How is, in which language does she work? And I know in your case, as you said, it's like 3 possibilities, yeah?
Yeah, but I've worked up here in Switzerland also with the 4th language, which is Romanish, and it's a Latin language, and I don't speak it. I wonder how much words are needed, and maybe it's more about being seen, and there are small things to be said. In our sessions, it's been a lot about talking because we are connected in that way, but sometimes it's not only always talking. It could be there's the meetings, and I could tape the sessions, and they could have somebody help them hear what it is. There's so much more here.
Yeah, great that you said it, because sometimes people are saying, I'm comfortable listening English, but not so comfortable expressing. Yeah, and
Who can express themselves much more, and their emotions, their feelings, there are much more language than just the talked language.
Great. Yeah. Another kind of breaking the rule. I love it. It's such a revolutionary spirit. There is a freedom to express yourself. And yes, thank you for this inspiration. And thank you for today, Marian. I wish you all the best for your journey, for your next steps, which are, just showing up every day. And I'm very grateful that we met.
And thank you, Maria. It's always pleasant to be around you and with you and for you and together with you. And I love it. And I'm really honored also. And you're in my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Dziękuję Ci za wspólnie spędzony czas. Wejdź na stronę agni-ajurweda.pl/128, gdzie znajdziesz notatki do tego odcinka podcastu. I zapraszam Cię do tego, żebyś wzięła udział w tym podcaście, żeby Twój głos zaistniał w ramach naszego podcastu. Nagraj minutowe lub 2-minutowe nagranie audio. Dokładnie tłumaczę Ci, jak to zrobić, a jest to naprawdę proste, pod tym nagraniem, i odpowiedz na pytanie, czym dla Ciebie jest Ajurweda? Jak działa na Ciebie słuchanie tego podcastu i korzystanie z tego, co oferujemy w ramach Agni Ajurweda. Z przyjemnością Cię posłucham i z przyjemnością skorzystam z tego, co nagrasz w przyszłych odcinkach. Jakie to będzie piękne, jak będziemy mogły usłyszeć swoje głosy. Różne głosy mówiące o Ajurwedzie i o doświadczeniach płynących z tego gromadzenia się wokół Agni. Wokół ognia, który już dobrych 9 lat służy temu, by Ajurweda była zrozumiała i dostępna. Dziękuję Ci bardzo serdecznie za to, że jesteś, za to, że słuchasz. Podcast jest podcastem wtedy, gdy ma słuchaczy, słuchaczki. Zatem, kochana, to Twoja obecność i zaangażowanie współtworzy każdy odcinek od pierwszego do tego 128 jubileuszowego odcinka. Wszystkiego dobrego i do usłyszenia w kolejnym odcinku.